I want to thank everyone out here, the public, particularly the staff, for their patience and time and hard work. And I really appreciate that we can have folks representing opposing opinions and do it in a very civil manner. I want to remind everybody that right now that area is zoned R4, which means without going through the zone change process, the developer can, if they wish, build a 4-story building up to 60 feet, and if they go with our density bonuses, it can even be higher. So the alternative we're facing tonight is not this plan or no change. The alternative we're potentially facing is this plan or some other form of density. So for those who may think that defeating this plan means that block will stay intact and there'll be no change, I'm not sure that's the case. The demolition permit, as you heard, was in place. A lot of folks have talked tonight about the dire need for affordable housing, and I think every single person in this room cares about that. This development does not help with affordable housing. The developer has admitted that. What this development does is it helps with student housing. We heard a lot of folks giving comment tonight expressing frustration with UK, either their lack of ability or willingness to contribute to our housing stock, while year after year really bragging about increased enrollment numbers. That's a frustration that a lot of us here share. And I think earlier we cleared up the fact that we don't have a lot of power to force them to do any of that. So much of that housing crisis, not to mention parking, not to mention public safety, has been externalized to us in local government. This developer has already said that most likely this housing is going to be primarily for students. So 800 out of those 1,000 beds are going to be housing students. If UK is not building the housing, who's going to build it? In my work on Lexington's Preservation and Growth Management Program, which is something that we're trying to build to tackle the idea of expansion and how we grow and preserve long term, in all of our input, people have told us overwhelmingly that they want us to do infill before we look at expansion, that they want us to use our existing land to redevelop before encroaching into our agricultural lands and damaging that urban-rural balance that we have that is so delicate. This project is infill and redevelopment. Infill and density anywhere relieves pressure in other places, not just for agricultural zones and farmlands, but also other neighborhoods. I want to address a few things that I heard tonight. Quote, I support housing, but not this. There is a drastic disconnect between what we support in theory and what we oppose in real life. The status quo in and of itself is a choice, and the status quo has costs. And that cost for us right now is our housing crisis. Why are we taking away missing middle housing? So much of the reason that we talk about missing middle housing in this town is because we don't have the courage to talk about high density. If we're not able to change a middle density neighborhood to high density, what is the alternative if we're going to meet our housing needs? Do we go to single family homes? Do we go to the suburbs? Do we go to suburban areas with low density and go straight from low to high density? Nobody's going to support that. Nobody up here is going to support that. I'm not going to support that. So how do we reach that higher density to hit our housing goals? I heard the word slow down, and I think Councilmember Baxter said that we really can't slow down any more than we are and still meet our housing need. I heard the question, who is Lexington for? And that's such a great question, and it's an existential question. And for me, Lexington is for not only the people who have what they need, who have houses, who have neighborhoods, who have history, who have beauty that they want to preserve. But it's also for people who don't have any of those things yet, who don't have the housing, who don't have the adequate housing, who don't have the housing near their homes or their works. I heard the words small town with a big town vibe. But you know what? We're becoming a big town with small town character, and I think that's okay, but we can no longer plan for our future like we're a small town. Ultimately, I believe this proposal aligns with our comprehensive plan and is one more step towards solving our multifaceted housing crisis. So right now, I want my colleagues to have political courage, and I hope my colleagues share my credo of doing the most good for the most people, and I believe tonight a vote yes does exactly that. Thank you.